Just a reminder before today's programme that the previous instalment of the Ident Review Extra is available to view here on the channel, and in that previous instalment we headed over to Wales to look at the ident known as Tug of War. And now, here on AMTV, time to look at the final ident that carried the old BBC branding, and that was a very special ident indeed, as we're going off-world for Mars weekend. The following programme is rated U. It is suitable for all audiences. Hello, and welcome to the Ident Review Extra, the spin-off show that takes a look at one individual ident each episode and gives it the review it deserves. And today we continue our marathon through the BBC2 idents of the 1990s. Today on our BBC2 journey, we are once more going off-world and heading to the planet Mars. Mars has always been an interesting topic for those interested in space travel, and whilst we have had various machines touch down on the red planet, we are yet to venture there ourselves. But several creatives have devised dramas, science fiction, just general entertainment all about Mars and its potential inhabitants. In July of 1997, BBC2 celebrated this kind of media with A Weekend on Mars. And to celebrate this weekend of otherworldly programming, a new ident was created, one suitably dubbed Mars Weekend.
So now, later than expected, BBC2 continues A Weekend on Mars with a journey to discover the sort of alien life forms which could conceivably exist in deep space.
Well, this definitely looks like something out of a sci-fi B-movie. I think the designers behind this were very self-aware about some of the campy tones and tropes that sci-fi movies have built up over the many decades. For starters, the flying saucer you see looks a little plain and ever so wobbly, just as many did back in 1950s films. Secondly, the music is wonderfully Martian, and what I mean by that is that it sounds like stock sounds you'd hear in movies that feature some kind of aliens. The familiar too is present, this time adopting the red shades and rocky formation of the planet Mars, and against the black of space with the twinkling stars, it does present a very striking and most importantly, memorable final image.
Now on BBC2 seems like blondes have more fun.
Probably one of the most interesting facts on this ident is that it was the last special ident to appear on BBC2 with this version of the BBC corporate logo. As mere months later, the entire corporation would undergo a rebrand, one that would affect its channel idents in a big way. So it feels quite poignant as we reach this point of the BBC2 marathon, that Mars Weekend will also be the last ident we see with the old, slanted BBC logo. How quickly times change, eh?
On the day that Pathfinder beamed its first historic pictures from Mars, BBC2 takes a trip across 100 million miles of space to explore the possibility of man one day setting foot on Mars.
Overall, Mars Weekend serves as a fun closer to the first half of this BBC2 era. It embodies all the cliches that we know and love about space and sci-fi B-movies, and if you're really into this stuff, I imagine it does get you in the mood for some campy Martian goodness. I wish they had continued to use the sequence more for theme nights about space or aliens, even with the new BBC logo, but sadly, it was not to be. However, Mars Weekend as an ident is well remembered amongst fans, as it represents and pays homage to the Red Planet, a world that we still hold great fascination for to this day. And so we've come to the end, but before we go, the final words from our broadcaster. That was the Ident Review Extra. We hope you enjoyed, and that you tune in next time. Keep an eye on the community tab and the Sunday catch-up for further news about this programme, as well as others here on AMTV. But until then, have a good week, and we hope that you'll join us again soon. Good night.